Good morning, guys. This is Jonathan with One Big Impact. So, today's video, I want to talk a little bit about understanding body composition changes and what that's going to look like, what you might be experiencing, different types of things. Okay. So there are some basic guidelines if you're trying to build muscle. There's some basic guidelines when you're trying to lose fat. There's some basic guidelines when you're trying to put on mass. There's some basic guidelines when you're trying to put on strength. Okay? Building muscle, take a few things. They're pretty basic. Training overload, progression, whether it's linear or not. It could be through volume, through intensity, meaning if you lifted 5 pounds this week, you want to try to lift 10 next week. You're going to cycle in and out of programs and stuff like that. The time that it takes for the muscle building could be all over the place, okay? That all depends on how advanced or novice you are as a lifter. It could be microcycles or mesocycles. It could be a year. It could be a month. It could be 2 months. It could be 4 years if you're an Olympian. It could be a lot of different types of situations. Generally speaking, to get a hypertrophy response, you're going to have to hit it pretty hard for about 8 weeks, seeing volume and intensity progress over the period of that 8 weeks, whether it's through adding more weights or the volume or the intensity in which you're lifting the weights in order to be able to shock the muscle to grow. Now, that being said, as far as nutrition is concerned, if you're looking to put on mass, like build actual dense raw muscle in addition to what you currently have, you're going to need to be in a caloric surplus. Caloric surplus meaning if your body requires 2,000 calories BMR to stay where you're currently at, your basal metabolic rate, then you're going to need to be something above that. And a lot of that is based on your somatotype, your body type. What type of body do you have? Do you have an ectomorph? Are you an endomorph? Are you a mesomorph? Meaning, is it hard for you to gain weight? Is it easy for you to gain weight? Is it easy and hard for you to gain or lose weight? Just depends on where your caloric surplus needs to be. If you're an endomorph like myself, you could put on size with maybe 100 calories, 250 calories, no problem. Mesomorph, you could probably put 1,000 calories extra and have no issues on putting on fat. If I did 1,000 calorie surplus, chances are I'm going to put on a hell of a lot more fat than I will lean muscle, and it would be a flawed process. Ectomorph, this naturally skinny, hard gainers, we call them, would need a significant amount of calories, sometimes upwards of 3,000 or 4,000 calories more than their BMR calls for. If they need 2,000 calories to sustain the body style they're in, they may need to eat 5,000-6,000 calories and force feed themselves, and it can be very difficult for some people because usually hard gainers don't have huge appetites like endomorphs do. That being said, another thing is protein. You have to hit protein counts if you're looking to put on lean muscle. Now, it's highly debatable, and I like to err on the lower side of protein, but some people will say on the higher side. It all depends on what you think, what you feel is best. General rule of thumb that a synopsis is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 150 pounds, 150 grams of protein comes out to like 3 6-ounce pieces of chicken per day. It's no big deal. It's easily obtainable for most people. If you can't get 3 6-ounce pieces of chicken, chances are you need to step up your game and eat a little bit more. If for some reason that's too much fruit for you or end up with a hiatal hernia or something like that, then you could definitely always go the route of like 2 pieces of chicken and a shake post and pre-workout. But always food is going to be better. Carbohydrates are going to help shuttle some significant amount of water to your muscles. There's simple carbs, complex carbs, depends on what kind of route you're trying to do. Now that kind of covers the muscle building aspect. Now to go into, if you're trying to lose fat, chances are keep your protein high, carbs a little bit lower, and don't drop your carbs out necessarily all at one time. You're going to trickle them down little by little, and then you're going to increase your cardiovascular, your cardio workouts, and definitely go into a caloric deficit. Start with like 250 calorie deficit. You can even start in 80 increments or something like that. But there's just, without knowing an individual, if I'm not working with you individually, by the way, I am a personal trainer. I'm also now a powerlifting coach. And I am currently, I train in person, I train online. So if you're looking for an online coach, I can definitely help you with that. I charge $199 per month. I'm cheaper than most people because I believe that it should be affordable for all aspects of life, not just the top tier. $199 includes full training, full nutrition, meal plans, guidance, everything. I also offer meal plans, 4 weeks, $45, 8 weeks, $80, and $135 for 16 weeks. Those are just like cut and go meal plans. I give you those. If you want ongoing nutritional guidance, I do that for $99 per month. Let's just call it $100. Give me $1 tip. Because I am definitely good at what I do, and I'm not saying that as an egotistical way. I'm saying that I'm passionate about it, and I will focus and get you results as long as you're willing to work for them. As far as strength phases, as far as like your reps and everything, you want your workouts to be a little bit more intense when you're trying to lose weight. You want to sweat, basically. More of the caloric deficit that you can go into safely, gradually, not crazy. You're definitely going to be able to burn a little bit more fat. Strength phases. Depends on kind of how you're looking to do it. Some people like to cut down when they're doing it. Some people like to bulk up. Chances are, if you gain weight, you will be stronger. Unfortunately, if you're doing like powerlifting or anything like that, you're definitely not going to make it into your weight bracket if you put on a bunch of weight. Will you be able to move more weight? Probably, but at what cost? You have to remember that it's really important to keep your health in mind. You don't want to blow up to 400 pounds or something like that and then be able to move good weight but be potentially in a position to have a heart attack. I personally think that you can still focus on being pretty in shape while still lifting a lot of weight. Your sets and reps will definitely be significantly lower. You won't train as hard. You will train as far as like instead of hypertrophy maybe 8 to 12, cutting maybe 12 to 15. Strength phase as far as reps in your sets. I gotta make sure I can't see my phone. Make sure it's not stopped. Sorry, the damn sun's coming in right there. And then your strength phase, your reps will be as low as 6, maybe even lower, 3s. Sometimes you'll do 5x5s, you'll do 1, and different things like that. And obviously you need to progressively overload, not too crazy, and then you're going to cycle in and out of strength programs as well. And all this is based on how your body, and working with somebody that knows exactly how your body's responding to what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just shooting in the dark. You can potentially set yourself up for injury, and you got to be really careful. And the next one, what was the final one that we were talking about? I don't remember the fourth one. I'm so sorry. So building muscle, cutting down, losing weight, strength phases. And I'll talk about this one because this is not what I was going to talk about, but this is something that a lot of people like to focus on. Endurance, whether it's like marathon training, triathlon, it could do all kinds of things. From the experience that I've had, I've made it through a bunch of 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and just finished a full marathon. So I'm not by any means some crazy professional on this, but I've definitely gone through the process myself on each of those, and I feel like that's extremely crucial. And the reason I did it is because I want to be able to share that information with others that are on the same journey. By doing so, I figured out a lot. The idea is to focus, kind of say, where am I at right now, evaluate, and then move forward from that point, increasing only from what your starting point is, from about 10% per week. If you increase any faster than that, you're prone to injuries or risk of potentially getting yourself in a position to where you're taxed too much. Your nervous system's not going to be able to handle it, and you're going to put yourself in a bad situation, and then you're going to end up falling off. I trained for many weeks. I trained for a 5K, that took about 12 weeks. Trained for a 10K, took about 12 weeks. Trained for a half marathon, took about 12 weeks. Trained for a full marathon, took about 12 weeks. So add that up, it's about 48 weeks of running. Necessarily does not have to be done. If you're a good, healthy, fit individual, you can go right into a 12 or 16 or 20 week marathon program, specifically focusing on the marathon, but I wanted to chalk them off as I went, so I ran for significantly longer. Currently, I'm nursing like some after marathon knee pains and stuff like that, but I'm also training 2 clients right now for a marathon. One of my clients just did a half marathon. We've done PR'd basically at tons of 5Ks. We're revving up for some 10Ks coming in the very near future, and then I have 2 more clients that are going to be ready in a couple months for a half marathon. So I definitely am in the industry. I'm not like some know-it-all. I always open to learning more information, but just understand that when you're trying to build muscle, build strength, lose weight, run for endurance, or do any of these things, they're all going to take a significantly different approach, but you have to understand what you're doing. Working with somebody, not forever necessarily, but for a while, however long it takes you to be able to figure out what you're doing, what it takes to get your results, and then move forward, is an extremely beneficial thing. The reason I became a personal trainer, and I'm an affordable personal trainer, is for the simple fact that it was so unrealistically expensive to get any type of information, whether it was food and nutrition, whether it was working out. I remember going to a lady and she said $500 for a month meal plan. I said, where did you come up with that price? And this was at a pretty well-pronounced gym, so I know other people were paying that cost. And I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. To get weight loss results, you were going to charge me $500, and that was just the first whack. She could give me no information whatsoever on anything that would help me on my journey. I do low-carb meal plans, bodybuilding meal plans, lean physique meal plans, marathon meal plans, high blood pressure meal plans, plans for people that are diabetic, low glycemic, people that have Crohn's disease, gout, all kinds of stuff, you guys. So there's options out there. Don't think that just because you can't run a marathon that you're not basically on a marathon, because you are. Whether it's through your weight loss, your muscle building, your strength phases, all of those things have to be worked with a professional if you're looking for the best possible results. Don't just meander and walk around, especially if you're just getting started. There's something called newbie gains, meaning if you go in the gym and you grind it out for a year, you're going to get the best results ever that you've ever gotten. But here's the thing, you're going to learn a lot and you're going to screw up a lot in the beginning. So if you take that year and you go work with somebody that knows 5 times the amount you do, not that they know everything, but they know 5 times the amount, they've been in the industry 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you are going to get 5 times the amazing results. Think about that. If you were to put 5 pounds of muscle on, maybe you put on 15 or 20 pounds of muscle in the first year. That's a big freaking difference. Or instead of losing 5 pounds, you lost 50. Think about that. It's a big deal, guys. Be stronger than your excuses. Remember to spread love, not hate. Drink your damn water. If you're new here, check us out on Facebook. Our group is called Healthy Living for a Healthy Life. #TeamBoo. Go check us out. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to our channel. If you have questions about whatever phases that you're doing, please put them in the comment section below. Have a beautiful day and good luck on your journey.